In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the hidden early signs of dementia that often fly under the radar. And I'm going to show you how they might be playing out in your parents' everyday life right now, right in front of your eyes, and you might not even realize it. The more you know, the better you can deal with it. Hi there, I'm Sophia. I make videos for loving adult children of aging parents to help you increase your knowledge and decrease your stress as it relates to parent care. So I'm just going to jump right in. For this video, let's start off with a quick definition of dementia so I know that we're all on the same page. Dementia is not a disease. It's a collection of symptoms that a person might experience if they have certain diseases, including Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and many others. So dementia is an umbrella term used to describe the loss of cognitive functioning like thinking, remembering, or reasoning. Dementia, it's not a normal part of aging. There are many people in their 80s and 90s who have no loss of cognitive functioning at all. Most people, when they think of dementia, they think of a person who can't remember their own family members, or who wander out and can't find their way back, or who ask the same questions over and over, or who can't remember what a phone is for. But dementia occurs on a progressive continuum. So briefly, let's look at the 7 stages of dementia and the continuum according to the Alzheimer's Association. So in stage 1, there's no impairments, no problems or symptoms of dementia, and dementia is not detectable. It's kind of funny that it's even a stage, but it is. Stage 2 is very mild cognitive decline. Your parent might start to feel as if they're having some memory problems, but there really aren't any symptoms that you would notice or the doctor would notice, and your parent might not even mention it to you. Sometimes we all might think we're in stage 2. Stage 3, mild cognitive decline. You might start to notice difficulties in your parent, and the doctor might start to be able to detect problems coming up with finding the right words or remembering names, or starting to lose or misplace objects more and have difficulty planning and organizing. Stage 4, moderate cognitive decline. Professionals will be able to detect symptoms of dementia in this stage. There are more prominent episodes of forgetfulness or difficulty performing tasks like planning a dinner party or going grocery shopping or paying the bills and managing finances. Your parent might start to become a little more moody or withdrawn in this stage. In stage 5, moderately severe cognitive decline, your parent might experience gaps in memory and thinking that are a lot more noticeable, and your parent might need more help with just the day-to-day tasks that they might have difficulty remembering things that you'd think they should be able to remember, like their own address or birthday or telephone number. And they might show signs of not knowing what day it is or where they are. In stage 6, severe cognitive decline, they have worsening memory and personality changes. A person in stage 6 might need a lot more help with their daily activities. They might lose awareness of their surroundings and recent activities, or have difficulty remembering their own personal history. They might have a hard time here recognizing familiar faces of family or family members' names. They might need help with things like dressing and showering and taking care of themselves. Or you might see major personality and behavior changes, and they might wander away from home and not be able to find their way back. In stage 7, very severe cognitive decline, the last stage, here your parent might lose the ability to react to environmental cues, might not be able to have a conversation or control their own movement. They might need help using the bathroom or eating, and you might notice a more flat affect, and they might even lose the ability to just sit on their own. The reflexes might become more abnormal, and they might end up being bedbound at this point. Often when people think of dementia, they think of a person who might be here in stage 4 or 5 and showing signs of significant memory impairment and not recognizing family members, or might be repeating themselves a lot or getting lost. But like the chart shows, dementia starts much earlier than that. Those moderate to moderately severe stage 4 or 5 symptoms had to start somewhere, and then they progressed to this point. People don't just start out all of a sudden wandering out of the house and getting lost. They start out as having no dementia, and then they start having very subtle symptoms that slowly progress, nearly undetectable, and that is what I want to talk about today. So in this area right here, where the symptoms are so low on the chart that a person can't even be diagnosed with dementia yet, but it doesn't mean the signs aren't there. There's 3 reasons I think it's really important for you to start to recognize possible symptoms of dementia early, and they're all really important. First, the earlier that you might suspect dementia, the better that you can track symptoms and present them to your parent's doctor. The doctor might be able to treat with medication to slow down the progression, and don't worry about the tracking because I have you covered on that. I made you a tracking spreadsheet so you can track the subtle early symptoms over many months. And then you just enter hashtags whenever you see a possible symptom. And if you see them increase, then take the spreadsheet to your parents' doctor's office, and they will have a clearer idea about what your parent has been experiencing. So if you want a copy of the early dementia tracking spreadsheet, then I will go ahead and put a link in the description box below. The second thing that makes it really important to recognize symptoms early is so that you have the most time to educate and prepare yourself of what might be coming down the road. And also to make sure that you have time to have the important conversations with your parent about their future healthcare decisions, finances, living options, and other legal matters. And third, in these early stages of stage 2 and 3, I often see family members who just think their parent is doing things to tick them off because they think their parent is being purposefully difficult, and they respond to their parent with anger and frustration. I think that the earlier a family can be tuned in to these early signs, the sooner they can potentially change their own mindset to provide the needed support and interventions. So right now I'm just really going to review the early symptoms spreadsheet. So really quick, pause this video, go print out the spreadsheet so you can follow along. So let's look at some of the very subtle ways early signs of dementia might be playing out in your parents' everyday life. And I am not saying that just because any of these symptoms exist, that it is a sign your parent has dementia, or that it's coming, or that it's present right now. Because there could be a lot of other reasons for any of these things to be happening. But by tracking, it is a good way to get an overall picture of what's going on over time with your parent. So okay, let's go ahead and take a look. I know the print is super small, but I just wanted to make sure to get it all on one page for you. So I created this spreadsheet for you to do some tracking. It allows you to track for a 12-month period. You could just go ahead and write the month that you started under month 1 and fill it all the way out. And then as you see these symptoms, you can just leave hash marks to give you a visual idea of any progression of dementia symptoms in your parent. So let me just review these possible symptoms. And like I said, just because a symptom exists does not mean that there's dementia. It could be so many other things. But this just gives you an idea of what's going on, and to have some data to have a conversation with your parent's physician if needed. So some of the early signs of dementia, the symptoms might change your parents' sense of smell or taste. So you might see things like them not wanting to eat or drink anymore. They just might not have any pleasure, no interest in food, which might in turn make them have weight loss or dehydration. You might see them eating spoiled food and not noticing, or maybe they don't notice the smell of burning food or smoke. So those might indicate changes in their smell or taste. Some other next changes would be visuospatial difficulties, which is difficulty in not being able to notice the distance between items. And so that might manifest itself as maybe more fender benders or accidents or trips and falls because your parent can't tell the distance between, cars when they're driving or the height of steps. They might not be able to even notice an item that's right in front of them. You might notice them having difficulty putting their clothes on, like putting their leg in their pants or their arm in the shirt hole, more than usual. I mean, we all have problems with that. But if you see that they continually have that kind of problem because they can't judge the distance of the hole opening in the clothing, then that might be them having difficulty with visuospatial senses. So if you see that, put a hashtag. It might show very, very subtle changes in behaviors that are out of character for them normally, like anger or agitation, or if they might start name calling to you or saying things to strangers out in public, things that they wouldn't normally do. Things you might notice them becoming maybe a little suspicious or accusatory, where normally that would be out of character for them. You might see them be a little scared, and that might be manifested by them not wanting to go outside anymore or be around people that they don't know or large crowds. You might notice them inappropriately laughing or crying, maybe at a topic that doesn't warrant a laugh or a cry, or maybe in a situation that would be inappropriate for them to laugh or cry out loud. You might notice sleep disturbances, and that might manifest itself as them wanting to just wake up in the night and watch TV or stay up really late and watch TV when they didn't do that before. And a lot of this is behavior that is new, behavior that you are not used to seeing in them. Sleep disturbances might be them waking up at night and walking around the house, or getting up to eat in the middle of the night when they never did that before. Next one might be very, very early memory loss issues. So maybe you might not notice their memory loss, but the way that they are, because in these stages, they notice the problems internally, but you might not see them. So what they might do to compensate is to start taking more notes than they used to remind themselves to do things. You might notice that they are losing things a little more often, or misplacing things a little more often, or putting things in odd places, like putting the car keys in the refrigerator. Memory loss might show up as them starting a project and not finishing it and just walking away in the middle. Like maybe they're cooking a meal and they just stop in the middle, maybe with the gas going on the stove or the water running, and they just leave and go in the other room and start another project. That might be a sign of their memory loss. It might show up as what you think as procrastination, that they're taking so long to do a task, but it could be to them that they're not remembering to do that task. It could show up as them forgetting their doctor's appointments or other appointments, or forgetting to take their medications more than they used to. It might show up as them, forgetting names or calling people by the wrong names more than they used to. It might show up as them wanting to watch old TV shows over and over again, because watching a new show and having to remember the characters and the storylines might be difficult. So maybe them watching old familiar shows that they already know the script and what's going to happen, it's more comforting for them. So you might see that they like to watch the same things over and over. You might notice them double and triple checking things. You know, checking their wallets, counting their money, double checking the doors to make sure that they're locked, or other things that you might notice them doing multiple times, double or triple checking things. Difficulty making decisions. You might notice this while, I don't know, out to dinner, and they just cannot, for the life of them, pick anything off the menu or make a choice. They can't pick a TV show to watch or pick an outfit to wear. If they're having increased difficulty making these kinds of choices, that they didn't have these difficulties before, that might be a red flag. Managing difficult tasks might also be a really early sign of dementia. You might notice them by them having difficulty paying their bills on time. Like maybe they're starting to forget to pay the bills, or on the other hand, they forget that they already paid it and they pay the same bill multiple times. You might see that. Other tasks, like things that normally they could do, like use an ATM machine, might become difficult. They don't know what buttons to push, or you might see them trying to put a business card instead of their ATM card into the machine. Other things of managing tasks, you might see them canceling activities and canceling plans. Let's say they were maybe going to plan a vacation or plan a holiday gathering. They might start that and have said they would do it, and then they find themselves having difficulty doing that. So you might just see them just saying, you know what, we're canceling vacation, or we're canceling that gathering. They're not going to say it's because they had difficulty managing and organizing that, but it might come off as them just canceling a plan that they wanted to do. They might show more difficulty adapting to change, that maybe they don't want to go out as much, they don't want to socialize, they don't want to do things outside of the home that they used to want to do. They might not be interested in meeting new people or going to new places, and this might manifest itself as just really insisting on a routine, or and arguing that they can't take a shower at night when they always take it in the morning, that they wouldn't be able to cope with a change in their routine. I also see signs of a loss of passage of time, and this might manifest itself with just them being bad with dates or even seasons, or misdating what month it is, or saying something happened yesterday or last week when it was really a few months ago or a year ago. So these very, very subtle signs are things for you to watch out for. And begin to track if you're noticing that there are more of these incidents than there used to be. So if you have your tracking spreadsheet, and I wouldn't recommend you share it with your parent, but this is just for you and your understanding of what's going on with them, so you can advocate for them. So over time, you might have a spreadsheet that looks like this, and I wouldn't worry so much, since occasional things might not be a concern. Or you might have a spreadsheet that looks like this. One area has a lot going on and not much in other areas. It might not be a dementia, it just might be a lifestyle choice. If your spreadsheet starts to have more hash marks over time, like this one, then it might be a good idea to show this spreadsheet to your parent's doctor so that they can see what's been going on and see what they say. Previously, if a doctor had asked you if there were any problems with memory, you might have said, yeah, sometimes, or yeah, once in a while, but you probably would have forgot all the little ones. Now with this spreadsheet, you're going to be able to report accurately so that your parent can get the help they need. I hope this video was helpful today. I think the more that you can recognize the possible early symptoms of dementia, the earlier and better care your parent can get and the better support you can give them. Don't forget to grab your copy of the Early Dementia Symptom Tracking Sheet by hitting the link in the description box below. And if this video was helpful, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I thank you so much for watching today. I'll see you next time.